Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching. Stephen here, live on Sunday the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you, etc., etc. How are you guys doing today? Are you well? I thought I'd go live because there's a bit of breaking news from Fabrizio Romano. Sunday's never a day of rest for that man, is it? He's straight back onto it. And he's reported that City could be about to advance on the potential transfer of Nottingham Forest England international Morgan Gibbs-White. And I'm look, I've come around to this. I genuinely have. My view of Morgan Gibbs-White has changed over the past couple of weeks. And I think there's nothing wrong with admitting that your view can change and develop. And the more information you learn, the more you pay attention to the idea and the more you think about it. I'll be honest with you, my first reaction was the classic, oh God, it's so bright in here. Let me just sort of there we go, that's better. My first reaction was, would he get into Real Madrid's side, though, and all this kind of stuff? And it's not really necessarily the right way of viewing it, because was Vitinha seen as a world-class talent before he signed for PSG? No, and look how good he became. It's all about, what you learn and when you learn it, like John Stones wasn't this Champions League level, brilliant Champions League final man of the match level player when he signed for Manchester City when he was a bit younger. I know it's a very different story, but the point I'm making is that people get better. Rodri wasn't a Ballon d'Or level player when he signed for Man City, but people get better. So all I can do is take it at face value and see what it is. I'll go to the actual news for you anyway, from Fabrizio Romano. Let me go over to it and find it for you right now. By the way, I know I look scruffy. I've not had a shower this morning. I've been up since 6 o'clock and I'm just very tired with ribbon and all that kind of stuff. So apologies for looking a mess. He said, Fabrizio said, I'll go to his exact tweet. He said, City plan to advance a Morgan Gibbs-White deal in the next weeks as he remains one of the priority targets. No issues are expected on personal terms, but work to do with Forest as they still hope to keep Morgan Gibbs-White. I think it's very obvious that we are pushing for him. I don't think it's a case of Wirtz or Gibbs-White or even Rangers or Gibbs-White. I think it's very obvious this is an English quote of him. We have to sign English players, given that some English players are going to leave. So whether you like it or not, we're going to be signing an English player somewhere. And I've come around to this idea. I know a lot of people are still sort of apprehensive. Look, given I make YouTube videos about Manchester City for a living, I watch a lot of football and I think about it an awful lot, and I spend all my time digesting this and thinking about it. And I've spent an awful lot of time thinking about where Gibbs-White would fit into this Manchester City side and why would we be signing him. And to me, if you look what Manchester City would be losing with certain players and so on, Bernardo Silva, you lose that energy, that industrious work rate, as well as a great touch, of course, and so on, and a clutch feeling, that clutch ability that he's got. You lose someone who can just glide past people so easily. I've got the sun keeps just changing the lighting. There we go. You lose someone who can glide past people if Gundogan starts to age a little bit. De Bruyne glided past people quite easily and picked a pass. And I think ultimately what Morgan Gibbs-White brings you is a guy who can play as a 10 or an 8. I think he plays as an 8 for Manchester City. He brings two-footedness. He brings relentless energy. He brings technically very, very comfortable. A guy who can pick a pass, and he was really good against us for what it's worth. I know he missed a couple of chances, but that volley in particular was excellent. And he brings an eye for goal as well, and a leadership ethic. I'm a firm believer. It's quite an old school way of viewing this, but does anyone else have this mentality? Sign other clubs' captains. Nathan Ake was Bournemouth's captain, and he was seen as I know the money will be more expensive, but it's a very different market. But Nathan Ake was not seen as an exciting signing. Nathan Ake was seen as a guy who was he's just a Bournemouth or whatever, he's a good player, but he's not a great player and all this kind of stuff. But he was their leader. He was a relentless professional, very talented. And I would argue Nathan Ake became a world-class player. No one thought he was a world-class player before we signed him. I think Morgan Gibbs-White could be very similar. Now, I know the money will be higher. He's an attacking midfielder. He's English. He's younger. It's inevitably going to be higher. They're not relegated to. He's at their Champions League level fighting club right now. So there's going to be, it's going to be a lot harder to get him. But I think it's more that kind of signing where I think you'd be surprised very quickly how good this guy is and how hard-working he is and how talented he is. So I've come around to the idea. You don't have to agree with me. I might be wrong. But I truly believe that I think I also agree with Kompany in the chat that says he's a shortage of great homegrown players. I think I think he's much more than a new Kovacic as well. I think technically he's much smarter going forward. I've actually seen him play some beautiful passes, to be fair. So I've watched him a lot over the past couple of weeks, and I've warmed to the idea big time. I thought initially it was Gibbs-White or Florian Wirtz. I think it's very obvious that it's not the case of either or. They want them both. They want them both. And I think they're very different roles for the team. And we're going to have to rebuild the midfield. And it's one of those things where, you know, if it's one of those things where if we had a situation where you had the midfield of our four midfielders being something like, do you know what, I'll build it. Let me just build it. Hang on. I go to lineup builder. Where's lineup builder gone? I'll add all the players in for you. So if we see you do the box midfield thing an awful lot, don't they? We do this thing where we have the box midfield, and I'll just sort of where we end up having like a box type midfield thing like this, don't we? And I know it's this sort of, we do this at the moment, don't we? But I'll put Haaland there, and I'll say Wirtz will start normally on one side. Would Wirtz normally start on the right or left? What do you reckon? If he was to drift inside central, because I know he has played out wide for Germany, but I can't remember where. So does he? If he ever plays that wide, and trust me, I'm going to shift him inside. Don't worry about it. But I think you could see Wirtz. Wirtz is left-footed. Start here, but drift inside. But if we got Wirtz, I'm not saying we will get him, but something like this, you know, you've got or Foden, and then you've got potentially, you know, Rodri, or Nikos, plural. You know, I can see where something like this would work. Yeah, it'd be a diamond. Yeah, probably be a diamond. So something like this. You know, with fullbacks giving us width, which would then leave Marmoush here. I know that means like Doku. What about Doku? What about Savinho? But that's sort of like, if we got Wirtz, it'd be that. Something like this, I reckon. I'll put the Nikos there, you know. It'd be something like this with the fullbacks getting forward. If we got him. He's right-footed. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm half asleep. Apologies. I have been up since 6 for the last 2 weeks against my will, and I'm very tired. He is indeed right-footed. I've got him in reverse in my head. I'm thinking of his goals now, and I'm seeing the guy drilling it in with his right foot and dribbling past people from the left. I don't know where I've got. I'm just speaking in. I'm tongue-tied because I'm tired. I apologise. I can literally see all the goals he scored from the videos I've been watching in the past few weeks, and he clearly is right-footed. I apologise. So I think he would be an 8, basically. And look, we wouldn't be replacing KDB with Gibbs-White. That's the point I'm making, B. I don't think he's a KDB replacement. He's a Bernardo Silva replacement. He's a Gundogan replacement. He's a Kovacic replacement. That's the point. You're going to lose Kovacic, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and De Bruyne. Those 4 play regularly. They're going inside the next year or 2. All of them are going. So you need the next generation of players. And that's what I think the plan is here. It's one of those things. He definitely can shoot, by the way. And if people say he can't shoot, he absolutely can shoot. Everyone's not getting it. We're not gone from Wirtz to Gibbs-White. It's clearly both of them. I promise you, City want both. They want both players. I really believe it. And we can't, it's a unmistakable fact that we need homegrown players, unfortunately. We do. So I think, I like the idea of this. Like, someone put it to me on Twitter that what you get Bernardo's level of relentlessness, and he's also very good technically in tight spaces he is. You get Gundogan, De Bruyne was very good at gliding past people. Kovacic can glide past people, which Guardiola clearly likes right now. So you get a guy who can dribble aggressively. You get a guy who's got a rasp of a shot, if we're being honest. You can pick a pass. I think it's a smart signing. I think we could do it. I think it can make an awful lot of sense. So I don't know. I've come around to it. Is McAtee on the way out then? I don't know, mate. I don't know. So I'll try and I don't know who's gonna go. He probably will do. Ask any Forest fan he can't shoot. Have you asked any Forest fan if he can shoot or not? Have you been asking Forest fans? I just don't believe you've been speaking to Forest fans if you can shoot or not. I'm not convinced that you have been speaking to Forest fans about his ability to shoot. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I got a feeling like he's going to be the signing that isn't. it's a very Nathan Ake kind of signing, but a midfield and very different at the same time. But I think he could be one where we look back and go, oh, he's been a cracking signing, and he turns into just a powerful, complete 8, who has loads of aggressive ability, technically good, smart, good dribbler, 2-footed. I'm not saying he's world class, but to me, he's an 8 out of 10 player. A lot of money, but I think he's an 8 out of 10 that Guardiola can refine to be a 9 out of 10. That would very quickly be a starting midfielder for England. Not that you care about that, but yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think he could be a very nice signing. A couple of beers. Yes, the thing... the Wolfie Forest fight. I don't watch that, to be fair. But I do know he could wallop a ball. Did he say that by any chance after our game? Because that wouldn't surprise me. He said that afterwards. Bruno G, by the way, he's a bit too old now. He's 29, will be 30 in a year. So I don't think I'd love Bruno G, but he's too old. Got him on a free transfer, great. But for the money, that's no chance. That ship has sailed, I reckon. It should have been last year, but we lost the whole year for him. But yeah, for me, it was after our game. Yeah. It was after our game. I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt, personally. He's also Foden's best friend, you're right. Would you have said Nathan Ake's Manchester City's level alternative facts before we signed him? I remember when we signed Nathan Ake, and I remember because I made a video about it, and everyone was kicking off. Everyone was kicking off, and I remember it aggressively. So this is the thing. I all remember these comments because I make these videos all the time, and I remember when people moan about signings. I remember when people moaned about Ruben Diaz, saying he was naff and all this kind of stuff and overrated. What I will say is that sometimes you have to sign the unsexy players, and I like that he's a winner. It's one of those things where, is he the next Nunes? No, I don't think he is the next Nunes. I think he's much better than Nunes personally. I honestly think he is better than Nunes. I think he's a much more focused, much more... Not focused. Yeah, focus is the right word. I mean... Look... every player for Manchester City in a different position plays a different position. Rodri's a 6 who plays as an 8. Morgan Gibbs-White is an 8 who plays as a 10. He plays as a 10 for Forest, but he plays back as an 8 anyway because they defend on a counter-attack. So yes, of course he does. Like, you're forgetting where they... Look, just because they start somewhere, like, I'll go back over here. Gibbs-White has this role for Forest, but I'm going to delete all these. I'm just going to get rid of all these names. But do you really think Gibbs-White is just staying up there? No. Like, if you look at... I'm going to go to SofaScore now. Look at the Manchester City game. I'm going to go over to the results. Matches, results. He absolutely plays deep and plays as an 8 against Manchester City. Why can't I click on that? Let me click on it, lads. What's going on here? There we go. So, Gibbs-White. You're telling me that's a 10? That is not a 10. Look at that heat map. That guy's an 8. He's all over the pitch. Like, he's not just hanging up. Gibbs-White is all over the pitch for Forest. And thing is, even if he plays as an 8 for Man City, you're camped in the box, so you're playing as a 10 anyway. So he clearly does play as an 8. He's way more suited for it. And he's the guy who's absolutely all over the pitch. That's a Bernardo Silva heat map. That's like Bernardo Silva-esque, where he's all over the pitch, doing everything box to box. He's not just the 10 who sits behind the striker. He's a technical box to box. I agree with that. And this is nothing like Calvin Phillips. I think you're getting far too caught up. Go and actually watch him. And not get caught up in the Twitter nonsense. I thought he was a little bit underwhelming initially until I sat and watched him and looked at his abilities and realised this guy is a powerful midfielder who's technically really good. He's 2-footed. He's got a really nice first-time pass on him, and he has got a lovely pass. He's not De Bruyne, no, but he can do that driven pass thing really, really well. I'm saying he plays as an 8 because he does play as an 8, mate. He's all over the pitch. He's not playing as a 10 behind the striker doing nothing else. An 8 is the guy who's doing box-to-box running around. It's not his fault that he doesn't have 20-odd passes as well. Look, do you know how many players come to Manchester City and their passes go to like twice as many? Nico Gonzalez had about 40 passes a game for Porto, joined Manchester City and got 100 passes in his first game. It's entirely how the team play as well. But anyway... I've come around to I think it's a smart. We'll see anyway. We'll see anyway. It's one of those things where I get it. I actually get it. I think he's a better version of White. Rice, says Mo. It's a big take. I think time would be very generous on you there, maybe. And I don't think he's Grealish either. He's a captain for his worth. Grealish's biggest issue is Grealish is not focused enough. He's not focused enough. We're all entitled to disagree on this, but I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be massively surprised. I think we're all being very negative because you all want Wirtz. But it's not Florian Wirtz or Gibbs-White. The two transfers are not connected. City aren't going for Gibbs-White because they can't get Wirtz. They want both, very obviously. It's very obvious to me that it's one of those things where they're not linked to each other. We will see. We're going to have to sign a homegrown player. Why do you keep fucking saying Wirtz or Morgan Gibbs-White? Are you stupid, mate? I keep saying they're not linked. Like, people keep moaning about the idea of them being the same transfer. Like, no one listens. They're not linked. The two are not linked. English attachment. Jesus Christ. I don't even watch England Diaz play. I don't even watch England play. How could it be like English attachment when I don't even watch England play? Look, the thing is, I get annoyed when people repeat the same stuff they read on Twitter constantly without using any critical thinking. It's like, it's not him or him. They are separate. Remove it. Stop crying over Wirtz. They are not linked. They are not linked. That's what I'm getting frustrated by. I don't mind people not liking the player, but moaning because we're not getting Wirtz is nothing. It's not the same reason. It's not the same thing. Anyway, you'd rather a riding midfield. That's a perfectly fine take. If you'd rather a riding midfield than Gibbs-White, fair. I get that. That's fine. Your take is totally fine. But I'm trying to judge a player on his merits here, and I think he's a much smarter player than we're giving him credit for. One is a KDB replacement, one is a Bernardo replacement. I apologise for getting heated. I've been up to 6 o'clock this morning, and I went to bed very late because of a teething child, and I'm up every day. I'm very tired, man. I'm very tired. So your temper when you're tired is very small, and I feel like I'm dealing with toddlers again. I'm like, Ruben, no, it's not this or that, Ruben. My son's called Ruben. You can do this and that. You're not getting it, mate. That's what it feels like. Standards are dropping once again. With people moaning about the same thing when we signed. Okay. It reminds me of that, to be honest. Once again, Nunes is not the same level as Gibbs-White. I'm sorry. Anyone you can see that just watching him. He's not the same level. He's miles better than Gibbs-White. Anyway, guys, we'll leave it there. I think you're all very, very divided on this. I love you all loads. I truly do. I think he's going to be a better sign than you realise if it happens. I think it's going to happen. Love you all loads. Bye-bye. Sorry for shouting. I'm tired. I do appreciate you all, though. I genuinely do. Thanks for watching. Let me have it, mate. I'm nearly 40 and I'm very tired. Thank you very much. Subscribe. Bye-bye.